I love it.
Awesome. All right, so let me pop us into the spotlight so you can see. And you see I have a little piece of paper. So when I show you how to sketch out this barn, we are going to use the 2-point perspective that Jessica talked about. So what is that? So Tashween, since you were there, where would you guess the eye level is on this picture?
Oh, wow. Where the tree and the land meet?
That's a very good guess. You're close.
Or below the barnyard?
Well, that's a good guess. And so I'm going to review it as I go through it. I'm going to draw where I think. Jessica and I actually had a debate about this. We weren't exactly actually sure where eye level was.
I think the problem with it is that the land is not flat.
Yes. So what's happening, if you look closely at this picture, and actually this is what I had looked at, I think that was cueing me in. If you can see, there's, oh wait, and let me make sure, oh, you guys have the picture in color, so we've got it. You can see that the land kind of like, there's like, it seems to be going up here. So and what I looked at was really, was it straight? This line kind of where the windows, the top of the windows and the doors went. And I could see it was almost straight. It's almost straight. So I located eye level just about here. So because of that, when you're sketching, if you remember on the one side, everything should go to a single vanishing point on eye level, right? Every angle. So the angles that are below, the things that are below eye level go up towards one vanishing point. And we're dealing with sort of sides of the barn. So here is side one of the barn. You can see that this is slightly above. Yep, that's right. Oh, I can't get my Sharpie to do what I want it to do. There we go. So this is slightly angled. So this is a single vanishing point. It's one place. All your angles will meet at the horizon, at the eye level horizon line in one place. This should work as well. Yep. Yep. Hold on. Get the top of the barn. Having trouble with my getting my. So these lines, the way we get the angles right up. So one thing to note about perspective, when you're drawing the side of a building, right? Any side of a building, none of these lines are parallel. Every single, they don't go at the same angle. This is a different angle. This is going up. This is slightly going down. This is going down at a harsher thing. Now, this is a different thing. These roof lines going down here are a little bit vertical lines. The up and down lines go straight up and down. Here and here, these go straight up and down. And then the other side of the barn, which is here, goes like this. There's a vanishing point on the other side. Now you can't really see it, which is why I added this extra line here. Oh yeah, it's gonna take a long time. It goes way the hell off here. There we go. Yep. So the second vanishing point on the other side might go so far that you can't actually see it on the paper. These lines will slightly curve up. Yep. And once again, this roof line, the roof lines, because they come down, they're more like vertical lines. But when you're trying to get your lines right, everything, they all have to go to a single vanishing point on either side. So when I'm sketching this, so this is how we're going to start our sketch. Okay, hang on, let me get my pencil. And if you haven't seen the lecture on Vanishing Point, Addie, it's available on your video channel. And there's a free page of videos on the website I can send you. And Emma, you know where to find it on the YouTube channel. Here, hold on. I'm just getting my canvas ready. So when we're sketching this out, like this. Okay, getting that out as far as I can. I'm going to start by finding out where my horizon line is, and you can see it's a little bit below halfway. So I'm going to start by drawing a straight line across where my eye level horizon line is. Oh, dang, that looks here. You scoot this over just a little bit. Okay, here we go. Come here, you. Here we go. Hi, Janet. And when I start to sketch in my barn, I'm going to start by kind of locating my two verticals. I'm going to find this one first. So this is here. So I notice it comes a little bit above the horizon line and a little bit farther below. And then from here, I'm going to draw a line until I hit the eye level. That's my vanishing point. I'm not really using this ruler to measure like numbers. I'm using it just to give me a good straight edge. And then I can see that here, also at the top of this line, I have to line this up like that. And then the last thing I need to do is this top line. Right. So then I can add in my roof lines and I can bring my second straight line here. So see, automatically my building is going back in space. That's pretty cool, actually, isn't it? It's pretty neat. You don't have to understand everything I'm saying to get that that's kind of cool. This actually sort of works. And then I'm going to come over here. And I'm checking. The first thing I was checking was this side of the building is definitely, it's about 2/3 of the side of this building. So I'm going to bring my second line. Let me double check and see. My second vertical. Oh, I got to make that much farther. Here we go. So my second vertical, which is this line, is going to come here. And I'm going to anticipate, kind of guess my angle. Yep. Where this line comes off. And then of course, I've got this and I've got this, right? I've got the roof happening there like that. And now I can start to, just to make sure I get my angles right. We decided this wasn't like a super perfect example of perspective, but what is really? What is like the perfect example of perspective? And when I draw in my, And when I draw in my, the top line where my doors and my windows are, they're also going to be slightly angled. So are these. And by the way, the angle, yep, here I'm going to do this with a lighter thing. The angles are never the same. None of these angles are parallel, right? Because they're going to the same point. And I think that's the, I remember teaching Janet that a million years ago, and the sort of bitter realization.
Janet's not a million years old.
Yeah. Oh, yes. In spirit, we all are. Remember the
we're more
bitter
than that.
realization that we all had when you realize that every single line. Here, I'm trying to make this visible so you can see it. So this line goes to the same vanishing point. So does this line, right? And they both go up, which means that they are not the same. They are not, I mean, they're not parallel. One is wider and the other angle is less wide. Same down here. So when I'm sketching in, so what I'm trying, so that's the thing that's happening. Wait, what did I just do? So that's the thing that's happening when your building is going back in space. All right, here. Yep. And you see, I'm just keeping my ruler on the same vanishing point, and I'm moving up and down to get the other angles right. In perspective, the vertical lines are always straight up and down. So I can draw a little straight up and down for my windows, but my windows should get smaller and smaller as they go away from me. Same here. So this guy is just about this. Let's see. So here's a window. Here's a door. Here's another sort of bigger door and a smaller window. And then there's this kind of big window up here. So there we go. Kind of the basics of perspective. We'll try and continue to refer to these ideas of perspective as we move forward. So let me take a picture of this so you guys can see it. And go ahead and draw in your horizon line in your barn. Let's see, hold on, Addie, I'll take a look at yours in a second. Addie, I need you to stand right over your, I can't look at your, I need you to stand right over it and give me a straight up and down shot. If I'm looking at it from an angle, I can't see. Janet, just send stuff in as you're doing it. Toshweed and Emma, the new hardcore. And Addie, the new hardcore. We already know, I already know Janet and Jessica are hardcore. I already know it. I love it that from the beginning, it's really clear with you two that you were both going to be at all the classes.
I almost didn't come tonight,
But you're hardcore.
but I'm hardcore. I'm really tired.
Oh, I thought I couldn't come tonight. And I came.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good to paint when you're tired. It's weird that way. Like you don't fight so much. I don't know. I like just sometimes like I like to paint when I'm hungry too, just a little bit to like keep me weird. I know that's probably strange. Let's see. Addie, let's see. Okay, so yes, I think your barn's a little bit big, but also Addie, I still feel like you're standing and you're taking this at an angle like this. So let me show you what I mean. This is what you're doing. Add spotlight here. So you're actually standing and you're standing at the side and you're taking a picture over the side of your, yeah, got it. So I want you to stand right over and put your phone right over as if you're standing straight on, and then it'll be easier for me to evaluate. But yeah, I think it's a little bit too small. So you might want to make it bigger. Also, this side, Addie, let me just show you. This side is like 2/3. It's an extra. It's bigger. This side is longer than this side. Does everybody get that this is one side of the barn and this is the other side, right? So one side of the barn is going this way. So this side is longer than this side. Got that, Addie? So this side is longer than this side.
Well,
Why?
Hey, Leah.
Yeah.
Your spotlight is a little off. We cannot see your painting.
What?
We're spotlight so we can see your face instead of your painting.
Right, I know. Because I was trying to show you how to take a photo. Oh, let me get that. Here, hold on. Let me just. Okay, there we go.
Thanks.
Yeah. Sorry.
Leah, I think you're on audio on 2 devices because we have an echo.
Yeah. Now do we have an echo? No. Yeah, somebody has me on. So I think that was weird. I think there was somebody else. I think it was Addie actually. For some reason, it was picking up the audio. She might have me on 2 devices.
Hi, it's Diana. I just joined.
Hi, Diana. Good to see you.
Speaking of hardcore,
Yeah. So once you've got your, dang it, sorry, I keep losing the, here, I'm going to put this here so that you can see it. So once you've got this in, it's pretty easy to add in the rest of the drawing. It's not that complex. I'm just trying to get up high enough so you can see. Okay. Once you've got that in, and I've seen it, then you can add in, right, the tree line kind of goes up like this. And you can play with, I really encourage you to play with this painting. The painting itself is a little bit on the dull side. There's some fence here if you want to add it in. The painting itself is a little bit on the dull side, which is kind of nice actually, because it means we have more leeway to play with things. This is a kind of tree bush area. There's a, wait, kind of goes like this. Here you can see a little bit more of the bush in front if you want to sketch that out, but we can have a little bit of fun with this one. We're going to do some grasses. We'll start out by working with the barn, but that's the extent of your drawing. All right, perfectly photographed, Addie. Upside down, but I can handle that. 1, 2. Yeah, so this, you can see, I think you saw this. This side just needs to be, here's the side on this side is shorter than this side. This side's longer. So just stretch that out a little bit more. That looks pretty good, honey. And here's the colors, the kind of original colors. Like I said, we can play with this. We can juke this around. We can play around with this a little bit. Oh, sorry, I was going to take a picture and send it over. So you'll spend a little bit of time today working on this. I want to see you. Okay, so Emma, I would say the same thing for you. You made this side shorter than this side. Actually, this side is shorter than this side. See? This is the length of this side. Look at how it compares to this side.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So you need to make this way longer.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. And you really do. Did you go to the perspective lecture? Did you attend it?
No, I think they were all on weekends, and I
No,
can't.
they weren't.
No. Oh,
They were not.
the timing just didn't line up. I wanted to, but
All right. So they are recorded and you should watch them.
Okay.
Yeah. They're recorded and you should watch them. I think you will find them really helpful for what you're wanting to do.
They were really
Um,
good.
They are really good. And Addie, I'll make sure to send them over to you. I have them in a different place for private students, so I'll send them over to you guys. That's my drawing there, just so you can see it. So remember, this side of the barn, because this is closest to us, is bigger. So this barn is kind of like a cube, right? And here's the cube corner right here. If we were to draw a cube, this is like side 1. This is like side 2.
It's Charlie's leash. Did you move it?
And then we can kind of a little bit see the top, not very much, right? It's like a cube. All right. So here is the dividing line between the two sides. This is side 1. All those lines are going towards this vanishing point on eye level. And this is side 2. These are going towards this point, this single vanishing point. Let's see. Intellectually, your left brain might be arguing with you that this side is longer because your side knows that this is probably longer, but because of the position that it's in, it's actually shorter. Isn't that fun? Isn't that awesome? I like to call it's a very disturbing mind games that drawing plays on us when we're translating to the two-dimensional surface. It does look a little like a moving train. So if you don't totally get this, Addie, if this doesn't make total sense to you, Emma, since you didn't watch the video, don't worry. Watch the video and then return to this idea. We'll continue to return to these ideas when it's relevant. The concept of perspective and how to handle perspective. But it's okay if you're like, it is a little bit, it's a system, it's very logical, but it requires a very different way of thinking. So it just takes a while to adjust to the concepts. Let's see. Okay, Tajween, pretty good. Pretty good. Yep, looks good to me. Looks great. I feel, Tajween, like this angle, this comes in a little bit narrower. It's a little bit longer, so you might bring this line up a little bit higher, right?
Okay.
And this kind of angles, this top line angles down a little bit more because that's the top of the building. But generally pretty good. Yeah, you might want to bring your guy a little bit to the, you might want to shorten this side just a little bit. You might have him a little, you might have this side a little too long.
Yeah, how do I shorten it?
Just go over, just, you have this you just pull your vertical line in a little bit to the left,
Okay.
right? Erase these lines and then move your little vertical line a little bit this way and then add these in, add these back in. Then it'll look sort of more taller. You know what I mean? Good job, you guys. Doing awesome. Doing awesome. Doing such hard things so well. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. This will be the hardest thing you do. The rest of it's going to be really fun. Okay, good. Okay, this side looks good, Emma. Right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you. I just moved down the bottom of the barn a little bit
Yeah.
because it was a little tilted, but
Yep,
I
yep.
can fix that.
And Addie, you need to, yours looks good. You just need to angle, you have this line going down like that. And really you have it going straight across, really it angles up to meet the eye level. See that? So you just need to angle this line up. Then you're in pretty good shape. Good job. Okay, so go ahead and sketch in quickly the rest of your tree line. And I have a few lines just kind of marking different points of the grass. Does anybody have thoughts about what kind of base would look good? What if we were to do a base, what color base should we use for this painting? One color. What do you think? Here, let me show you the color version so you can see. Not that we have to stick to this color version. You get to choose what you want to do, but.
Red.
Yeah, I think red's a good idea. Or how about we combine them and make orange? How about that? How about sort of reddish orange? Let's use both red and yellow. So I'm going to put some cadmium red on here. And by the way, why'd you pick that color red, which is absolutely right?
So it's opposite on the color wheel.
Yeah. Oh my God. You're all so dang smart. Okay. You're awesome. That is absolutely correct. So I'm going to, let's see, where am I going to put my red? I'll put my red right here so you can see I've got red and yellow here. I'm going to use my big brush. I've squeezed out some of the water. I don't happen to have a cloth on me, so I'm just doing it with my hand. And I'm just going to mix a tiny bit of yellow into red. So we'll start with the red will be kind of the darkest areas. So we'll start with this kind of orangey red.
Is it a cadmium red?
Yeah, that's a cadmium red. I've got cadmium red and cadmium yellow. And of course, the darkest area is this tree line back here. And then these trees up here. Maybe the doors, the windows. And it's kind of dark up here. I think that's it. I think the rest of this is fairly light. There's a little dark bush right there. And then the rest of it will just be light. And now so I'm going to add a lot more yellow to my brush. I don't have to totally wipe off my red. And actually, as I move down, everything from here up can be pretty yellowy light. Yellowy orange. As we come closer, I want you to add more red. So make this darker as we come closer to us. And I'll take a picture of this. Yeah. When we get to watercolor, which will happen in 2 weeks, not next week, but the week after, the first lesson will really be spent talking about watercolor basics and doing some practice. So don't worry, I'm not going to leave you guys kind of hanging. Better, Addie, that's great. Janet, go ahead and send your painting in, whatever you're working on right now. Here, I'm going to bring this down so I can photograph it for you. And this is how loose this painting is. It's really just a couple of values. And good decision on the. How's everybody doing today? Diana, are you working on your kitty cats?
Yeah, I am.
On the bus?
Yeah,
Cat on the bus?
yeah. I am. I'll send it to you. Where
Did
I'm at.
you end up glazing that? Did you?
Oh, I haven't worked on the others. I've just worked on the cat on the bus.
Oh yeah, I think today you ought to try glazing Lincoln purple just to see what will happen.
Well, maybe.
I
Yeah.
think it might be.
Yeah, it needs it.
Yeah, I think it might be done is what I'm saying. So like, even though it's like kind of a frustrating painting for you, sorry, I'm still, as usual, playing with my stupid lighting and trying to get it to work. Yeah, that's not good. Okay.
They all feel stupid to me right now. I'm just maybe backing out of this, even though they pay well,
Yeah.
because they have no concept.
The idea is a dumb idea, you think?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the way that, you know, they have like so specific ideas that it's like, what?
Right.
Yeah. So I might. So this bus this bus for one thing is not okay because it's a city bus. Oh, there's an echo now.
I know. What's going on there? Hold on. I just want to make sure. Maybe I do have the. I don't have my sound on. Here, I'm going to leave this meeting. I'm going to leave from here and come back. I don't understand why. Okay, I need to leave the meeting. How do I get out of the meeting? There we go. Leave. Okay, Diana, say something now.
I was just saying that this,
Yep.
yeah, I think it's still, is it still there? No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah. So they, you know, it's, oh, this is a city bus. It has to be a Greyhound bus. And, you know, it's like stupid things.
It's just stupid things. Got it. They're not fun to work with.
No,
They're not collaborating with you.
no, and you know,
Yeah, life's too short.
yeah, and it doesn't matter that I don't need the money that bad. So I sent you the bus where it's at.
Okay.
But I decided I'm ignoring them. I'm doing it this way anyway, and they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to sort of see what they'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we are. Okay, Tashween, that looked pretty good. So go ahead and get in the rest of your stuff, and then I'll start building the palette. And actually, maybe we will finish this painting. It's possible. We'll see. I'm not wanting to put any pressure on anybody, but. Oh, that's really great. Yeah, Addie, that looks great. In a weird way, doesn't it like kind of look nice already? Beautiful colors. And when you're done with, I'll keep this up until you guys are ready. Here, I'll start building the palette down here, and then I'll show it to you as we're building it. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is go get some paper towels. I'll be right back, or a rag.
Yeah.
We're going to practice mixing, and building our palette. So when you're done with this, don't worry. We'll let it, I know it's kind of wet right now, but we will let it dry. If we're going to use the colors that are on the photograph, definitely I see burnt sienna. And I see burnt umber for sure. Anybody else see any colors as you're looking at this?
Like a gray blue.
So how would we make that?
White and black and blue.
Nope. What's the complements of blue?
Orange.
Yes. So all of our complements we will mix with like some blue and orange, right? So we'll definitely want blue, but we've already got orange here. We've got this orange, and then we've got burnt sienna, which can read as either a red or an orange. So we'll test. So let me add. So I've got burnt umber, burnt sienna. Now we're going to put on, right? Remember, in this class, I don't use black. We mix our blacks. Hey, Addie, can I mute you just because it sounds kind of crazy over there?
Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't know I was unmuted.
You're probably totally used to all the background noise of being one of 4 kids in the family. It sounds like it's not terrible. It's actually pretty mild. All right, so I've got some ultramarine blue, definitely viridian green. I'll write all these down and take a picture and send them over to you. Don't worry about it. All right. Okay, I've got viridian green.
What was the blue that you said?
Ultramarine. I'll write these all down. Don't worry. I will send you a picture of this palette. So this is ult blue. So you want the warm blue, burnt umber, burnt sienna. We already have cad red and cad yellow. And I've got viridian green here. And maybe white. Maybe that's all we'll need. There's a lot of kind of grays in here, greeny grays in here. We're going to do a little bit of glazing, and I'm not going to forget. Not going to forget my glazing because it really does help this painting as we're coming along, particularly because we have this totally bright underpainting and we want to create some sort of dark depth. Okay, so that's it. I think this is all we'll need. Let me take a picture and I'll send it over to you. Oh yeah, Janet. I like the softness. I love the chicken right now. Yep.
You keep calling it a chicken.
The rooster, sorry. I'm such a city kid. That's like a totally city person thing to do. Beautiful, Tashween. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. After working so hard on this farmhouse, it's nice to have a kind of nice, soft, mushy, sweeping painting, isn't it? And there's your palette. So yeah, we will talk about this soft gray, how to get it. That soft gray blue, that's the sky, so pretty. I'll move this over, but we're not in a rush. I've been lately thinking about the idea of moving quickly versus slowly. When I first started developing these little mini lessons, these painting lessons that we were doing over online, it was because I was worried that people, when they weren't in my studio, weren't able to see, like, they were started with simple subjects, you know, like a tree, a apple, a cup, blah, blah, blah. But they've naturally become more complicated, I think, because you guys are able to do that, like much more than I thought you would. I think you're moving faster than I thought you would. Or I'm moving you very fast, one or the other. Like probably both are happening. Probably both is happening. So I've been thinking about kind of trying to, as we tackle more complex subjects, like what's the time we need? Because I still want this to be kind of meditative for you. And I feel like when I'm rushing you through a painting, it's not happening. So here we are. We're going to be doing more, although watercolor, of course, will be a whole other animal. It's a very quick painting. Even if you don't want it to be quick, it's totally quick. So let's play with some mixing. First of all, I'll take my palette knife here. So Emma brought up a really good, so how do you get a kind of blue-gray, a bluish gray? You start by mixing blue with complement. And we have two options here. We can mix, we'll try them both. We can mix ultramarine blue with a touch of burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is one of those colors that can read as either orange or red. So you can use it as a complement for both. Right, so I can mix in blue. I know it's tough to see here. I wonder if I can bring this down a little bit. In any event, I'll take a picture of it and send it over to you before. And then to see if it works, I add white to it, right? This seems a little bit brown, which means I've got too much burnt sienna in, so I put in a little bit more blue. So that's one kind of gray, a little bit more blue. So see how I can adjust my color? Oh yeah, that's looking pretty. That's very pretty. I can make it wider. I can make it lighter with more white. So there's this. We might even start with this. Let's see. Burnt sienna plus blue plus white. That's one kind of gray. But let's see what happens when we mix a little bit of red and yellow to make a real bright orange. And we mix blue and that real bright orange. Let's see what happens when we do that. I can already see this looks a little bit green. So I'm adding a little bit more red in it because of the yellow and blue. There we go. So now what happens when we do this? Let's add some light to that. Very different kind of blue. So you have options when you're kind of mixing your blue sky, your bluey gray sky. I mean, the other thing we can do, if you want to, we can add phthalo blue and try that as well. See what happens when we mix phthalo blue, right? Because phthalo blue is a totally different kind of blue than ultramarine. So I could put phthalo blue down just out of curiosity. I'm like, here's some phthalo blue. Wait, pull up a little bit. So if I mix phthalo blue with burnt sienna, what happens? Oh, that's like way too much. Here, hold on. And then I add white to it. Very different kind of blue. Maybe you like this better. So if you want to add phthalo blue to your palette, it's a little bluer, right? Which is natural. Phthalo blue is a little bit like that. It's a little bit more intense. Yeah, in a way, these are very different. I'll take the picture and you'll really see it. So you get to choose. Do you want to use phthalo blue or ultramarine? Might be phthalo. And then just to be totally equal, we'll try a little bit of orange with phthalo blue. So these are all your different sky options. I guess I'm showing you this in this way because I want you to, and I can see you guys are already learning. You're showing so much intuition about the, clever logicking about the colors. So I'm wanting you to see, yep, there we go. Interesting. It's slightly different. So these are the phthalos. Phthalo mixes. And these are the ultramarine blue mixes. So that's one thing that you get to play with. Yeah, look at that. These are almost purple. So there's the blue of the sky. These greens back here are going to be viridian green and a red of some kind. And I'm going to need more palette paper here. Let's see. I've actually run out of room. And really, this guy is kind of gray, right? This is just different shades of gray. So your greens in your trees will be a little bit more like this. Viridian green, red. I'm going to try cadmium red and see what happens. It's pretty red. I notice a little bit of red goes a long way. So you can have a dark that looks like that, a green that looks like that. You can try viridian green and burnt sienna too. Also, colors that can make this kind of deep, rich dark. So that's for the tree line. But when you get further down, you can take these mixes, these green-red mixes. So every green, natural green has some red in it. So you'll always start with viridian green in a mix. And then you can add more yellow to it to make it lighter for these kind of light greens of the grasses. So you can decide, you know, which one you like better. They're different, very different. So let me write this down. This is like, here, let me take a picture of it. So this is as many markers as I have at the beginning of class. Oh, there we go. They all seem to go away. This is viridian green plus burnt sienna. This is viridian green plus cad red plus yellow down here. So there's your greens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This might be a, I don't know what kind of question this is.
No dumb ones.
Yeah, do you have any strategies for how to pick up the color from your like pure paint when you're mixing it? Because I always end up like muddying like my original pile of paint when I'm mixing.
So you want to clean up, number one, make sure you've got a rag. So you're cleaning off your palette knife every
Are you
time.
mixing with your brush or your knife, which
Yeah.
is your painting BFF?
Yeah, I'm not wiping my knife between
Yeah.
every.
Oh, you need to wipe your knife.
Oh, you gotta
off
wipe the knife off.
between. So that's it. And the other thing I would say that helps, Tashween, put your pure colors around the edge, the top, and as you mix, pull towards the center. So you're not mixing right, you know, you're not going green here. As you can see, all my colors are here organized, and I can pull them into a separate area. So keeping my pure colors pure. So yeah, every time, sorry if I didn't make that clear, every time swipe. I should be showing that more on video. So I'll make sure to try and show that.
Just a little note about your knife. Actually, this is not the one I take outdoors. I have another one I take outdoors. They get very sharp once you've been using them for years. I actually sliced my hand open wiping it, and I missed my rag the other day. So be careful. It's a thing.
Painterly issues.
Yeah.
If you're using your brush, you're going to want to dip your brush off, like basically, and every time you're mixing. I am a brush mixer, but I do a lot of cleaning off of my brush in between.
Just another little note about palette knives. They're wonderful and you need them and they're important. There's a point to this, I promise. You can get a painting knife, which they say the best ones out there are Holbeins, which is probably true because they're Japanese layered tempered steel. And that's the one that I take outdoors. Can you guys see me just quickly? Sorry, Leah, I know I'm taking over a little bit, but you see these two knives?
Yep.
Look at both of them. This is a little bit important for your mixing. Do you see how they're one piece? Right here. There's no
bump.
There's no, I know I just reach over and I have no.
Yeah. Okay.
You see this? Yeah. This is a knife for painting. It's for applying paint. These are mixing knives and they are all one piece. I break these. I can't mix with them, I'll break them. It'll last me 15 minutes. But these don't, they're very flexible. They're one piece, they won't break on you. This is a Holbein knife, the MX series. It's discontinued, but Holbein still makes awesome knives. This knife cost me $50, okay? This knife, which I like just as much, came in a 4-pack at Home Depot for $5. Go to Home Depot. I cannot find in the art store the equivalent to this knife. I found Holbein, that's fine, but Home Depot, people, Home Depot. And don't get these. Don't get these. Home Depot, $5. $50. I love this knife. It's a joy. It's a pleasure. It'll never break, but $5. The end.
Always, we like the hacker, not the hack, but you know, we like the painting hacks. Jessica's got them all. The last thing you'll want to focus on, and thank you, Jessica, because that's absolutely awesome.
And
Although
what
Holbein
I
knives are lovely. Holbein
Yeah.
knives are wonderful, lovely, but you know, you could Home Depot $5 and you won't see it at Blick.
Yes.
Home Depot,
What
$5.
section at Home Depot?
The painting section.
Oh,
Not kidding. Yeah.
So the last kind of mix we'll practice is this, the barn. So once again, the barn is shades of gray, and I see bits of sort of an orangey, a sort of browny orange. So my suggestion is to try mixing burnt sienna with ultramarine blue and then a little bit of white to create the kind of gray, sort of warm gray. And I think that's going to work out really well for the barn. And more white to make it lighter, more blue and more color, more pigment color to make it darker. So that, darn it, what, always, it just they keep running. Oh, there it is, keeps hiding from me. This is barn color. So basically this whole thing is grays. Blue plus burnt sienna
Hey,
plus
Leah,
white. Yeah.
could you pin yourself?
Oh yeah, I forgot to unpin Jessica. Let me do that. Hold on. Sorry. Thank you, Addie. You're the reminder to remove the pins. You're right. You need to be able to see. Here we go. There we go. Well, so, and at this point, our paintings have probably dried. So once you've practiced mixing for a while, I'm going to move these over here. The first thing I'm going to do when I come over here and look at my painting is I'm going to add some glazes in because I know this is really too bright, right, for what's actually happening. Here, over here a little bit. So for those of you who are new to glazing, this is what glazing is. And I am going to add myself as a spotlight so you can see my setup for a second. So it's important for you to actually see here. I've got my water and my big brush. So I haven't used anything other than the big brush right now. And my water for a glaze, I'm going to be using a lot of water so that when I come over here now, hold on, I'm going to, come on. I'm going to remove the spotlight so you can just see the palette. When I come over here, I'm going to take some of my green, my Viridian green, but I don't really have very much paint on my brush. I've got more water. So you can see I'm kind of scrubbing it around. I've got a lot of water on my brush, not very much paint. And then I'm going to glaze, which means I'm going to go over the whole thing with this kind of transparent green layer. I know there's a bright light there. I can't seem to get rid of it. Here, down here, that's a little better. So I am going up. It's almost like I'm getting more water on my brush now. It's almost like I'm doing a filter, right? Like of a color, you know, like when you can pick the filters and they have silly names on your editing programs like Arctic and Denim and blah, blah, blah. It's like I did a green filter across. Now, you will see this painting looks a lot duller right now. In some ways, a lot less interesting than it did a minute ago. But I want a very dark, I want it to be darker and muddier. In fact, I want it to be darker and muddier enough that I'm going to go back over with blue again. So I'm doing 2 glazes, particularly down here. I want this to be really, there we go. So sometimes glazing will, like, the process of glazing feels counterintuitive because your painting doesn't look very nice right now. I mean, I think it looks great because I know what's going to happen next, right? I think this is a perfect base for a painting. But if you're constructing a painting for the first time, here, hold on, I'm going to get in here, take a picture. You might feel like, wait a minute, that looks muddy and gross, muddy and murky. But what we want, as some of you know, have already experienced, once this dries, we can add some really beautiful, our lights show up very beautifully. And why is that? Why? Here, hold on. Oh, I know what's going on. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
No, still. Huh. So interesting.
Hey, Leah.
Hold on. Yes.
So I don't think my painting was completely dry, and I added my glaze.
Yeah.
And so my whole painting is like brown.
Okay, take a picture.
Okay.
Don't worry. You haven't wrecked it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't panic. But yes, wait until your painting is entirely dry. So for those of you, if your painting is not dry, but don't panic, Addie, it's all fixable. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's actually gorgeous. Let it just be the way, let it be that way. That's okay. Don't worry. But let it dry, but it's all good. You're going to love this. This is perfect. Funny? Isn't that funny that something that looks so ridiculous is going to be so perfect? Now, for the barn, I think we'll probably start with the sky and the trees, and then we'll move to the barn. So everybody, that's beautiful, actually. It's just stunning. It's going to be gorgeous. Yes, I have had students that are like very, you know, if you're not clear on what glazing, so glazing will just add layer and depth. So we know that this area down here needs to be pretty dark, right? And so does this area up here for our colors on top to look really nice. So we often have to make them look a little bit more blah before they look good. Anyway, that's all I'll say. It's hard to put words on it, but yours is beautiful. It's absolutely what I wanted, what I want for you. Oh, lovely, Emma. Nice, nice. See how already your what the blues are doing with your oranges down here? See how there's like these kind of nice little shadowy mixes going on? Very gorgeous. Beautiful. I love it. To me, I get very excited by the paintings at this stage. It's okay for you to be like, whatever. Like I get super excited about the paintings at these stage because I know how gorgeous these are going to be. And it doesn't take too long to dry. I even love the way kind of like the way the darker colors that we just filtered over, how they kind of dip in. They sometimes drip. They kind of make little textures here. So when your painting does, well, shall I wait? Let me wait just a little bit longer. Tashween, beautiful. Yeah, yeah. In fact, I want the blue that Tashween has there. I really like that. You've encouraged me. I was kind of looking at my painting, wondering if I should go even darker green. You've just encouraged me to do that right here. Nice. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to suggest that we start with the top, the sky. So if you remember, we had these 4 gray mixes that we could play with. You'll want to use, I think you'll want to use your big brush for this. This is going to be fairly smooth. You know, I mean, I know there's sort of clouds in the sky. So you can kind of test and see which one. And if you lay it down and it feels a little dark like this does, I can add more light to it. So you can test your color. Oh, wait, I can see. Okay, so now there's a point where you're going to need to actually see the picture and see what's happening to be able to start to lay color down. I'm actually kind of using a little bit of everything. All the grays that I've mixed. All the grays I've loved before. If you feel like your gray is too gray, you can add a little bit more blue to it. If you feel like it's too dark, you can add a little bit more white. This is fairly light. We may go over with another layer when we're done with this. And I like to do skies like this. I like to, instead of going back and forth over one area, like this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? Instead of doing that to try and cover everything up, I like to take, here, I like to load up my brush with some of my gray, right? And then I like to kind of move around the canvas where the sky is. So, and I like to go vertically and then horizontally. I like to kind of flip back and forth. 1, 2, 3. So I'm not over painting in one particular area. I'm really covering, and I keep going back to get more paint. So I keep moving around. I go sometimes vertically, sometimes horizontally. And you'll notice that your brush mark leaves like here's a horizontal line that I don't really want in there. So once I leave that, I'll come back to it and I'll kind of tap and pat over it. And what's nice about this is that some of your orange might come through. And that gives your sky a little bit of vitality, a little bit of pop that it wouldn't normally have. So I like to let a little bit of the underpainting with these vertical and horizontal strokes, kind of moving around the whole place. And then I look and I see, are there lines that look weird that I need to tap out? So that's my sky technique. I'm looking at this sky and trying to decide, do I want it to be darker? I'm not really sure yet. When I lay in my trees, I'll know more. The nice thing about acrylic painting is you don't have to know all that stuff. So that's how I like to do this guy. Kind of, instead of going compulsively over one area, which it's really easy to do, I want to like move around. I want to change my stroke. Hi, Marianne. How long have you been here? Oh no, Marianne's not here. She's just she's just on the thread. So I'll take a picture of this. I actually use variations of all the mixes. And I might go lighter. but this is good for now. So I kind of mixed them all together. And since we're all here just doing this thing, can you guys tell me what you love the most about, what you like the most about painting, what you're enjoying the most? I'm not talking about my teaching. I'm talking about what you're enjoying about the painting process the most. I'd love to know. Any of you. Addie, what do you love the most about painting, learning to paint? What are you enjoying?
Well, I like how you can just take a white canvas and it turns into something awesome at the end.
Yeah.
And that you can always come back to a painting. It's not like done after you think you're finished.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Wonderful.
It refrains me from thinking.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's all you're thinking about is this thing that you're looking at. Whatever you're worried about, you can't really be worried. You can't really worry too much.
I like
What else?
I like what Addie said about being able to, like, if you make a mistake, you can always go back and go over it and stuff like that.
Yes, that's true. There's a lot of correcting you can do in paint. That's surprising, right? Right? Yeah, what keeps bringing you back? Emma, what keeps bringing you back?
I think I'm always like surprised by how it turns out. Like, I think, you know, while it's like this process of like, while I'm doing it, I'm like, I can't really see this because I'm so focused on it. And then like at the end, I step back and I'm like, whoa, it's like it's a thing. I painted a thing. That's cool.
You know, Emma, I love that you said that because I still feel that way about virtually every painting I've ever made. I have this point where I'm like just working on it and where you'd think after doing it for so many years that like that never gets old. I agree. It's just fantastic. It never gets old. Like, I'm always like, whoa, check it out. I was just like working with my lights and my darks and I was working my edges and all of a sudden it turned into a thing. To me, that's the greatest joy. Jessica, what about you? What brings you back to painting?
Painting is hard and art is stupid. So I don't know.
That's what brings her back. Janet, what about you?
I like creating things and I like the meditative piece of it.
Yeah. It's sometimes, and you had to fight to get there because you were tired today. So it would have been easier not to go right into this space.
Yeah.
So it's worth a fight to kind of get there. All right. Let's work with the tree line, the upper tree line here. I'm still trying to bring this down here so we can see everything. So that tree line is pretty dark. So once again, if you remember, I was going to try Viridian Green and Burnt Sienna as my mix, my dark mix. So because my trees are kind of up and down, and because they have a kind of soft edge, I'm actually going to use a fairly similar technique, except I'm not going to go horizontally. I'm just going to go vertically. Now, you don't have to do this. I'm not telling you you absolutely have to do this, but I think that directionally, and I can see that the trees are a little bit like kind of, you know, you can see the leaves at the edge. So I'm kind of pushing my dark into my light edge as I do that. And I'm vertically going down, chopping here. There's a little bit of tree here. These are really, and once I've added this in, I feel like it's easier to kind of evaluate what's happening in the rest of my painting. And by the way, I don't normally start a painting like this. I would normally start with our subject, the barn, and go outward. But because the barn is kind of small in this picture, I felt like working with the bigger shapes first.
Sorry, it was Viridian and burnt sienna or burnt umber?
Viridian and burnt sienna, to kind of have a nice sort of tree-y picture. And then there's a few trees in front that are slightly lighter, so I might add a touch of yellow, cadmium yellow, to my mix just to pop in. Let's see if I can make that happen. I might have to wait on the second. See how I can kind of get towards the base here. It's a little bit, the trees are a little bit lighter. I don't want to get into too much detail right now. I just mostly want to lay out my light and my dark. So now I've got tree line and this, and now the rest of these are lights and kind of mediums.
So Leah, are you thinking I should glaze the whole Lincoln statue or just
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
every part of it?
Yeah. I think that, and I'd glaze it back. You can glaze the cat too if you want to, because you can always pull him out again.
Yeah.
And then I would look at his eyes. I would like go and like kind of make his eyes. I'd kind of make his eyes a little bit less sort of buggy-eyed looking. Right, so if you can add a little bit more detail around the eyes, then I think you're done. So you want to push that statue back.
Okay.
You might add a couple more bright oranges to the kitty. But yeah, I think the purple glaze, I often think with your work, Diana, that you've kind of got everything. So all you really need is just the slight pushing back or pulling forward that you can get with the glazes.
Okay.
You've got the deets. Okay. And then I would say it's time to start working on this farmhouse. And so I have a little flat I'm going to use with this. I'm going to see how far I can get with that. I've removed, this is my big flat. Here's my little flat. I have a little flat brush. Using a pointed brush, you may at some point want to go in with a pointed brush to do the real detail work, but I think a flat will help you more to get the sort of basic detail. And we're going to paint the shadow sides first. And if I remember correctly, I said burnt umber, sorry, ultramarine blue and burnt sienna and white. So we're going to add a little bit. And if it looks too brown, add more blue. If it looks too blue, add more brown. Add more burnt sienna. And I'm going to have a little bit more blue to go in where the shadows are. So the shadows are in a couple places. They're here. And then this whole sort of, I know this is darker than what's actually happening, but I'd like to get the shadows in first. I could add a little bit more white here. Also got a little too blue. But here is the sort of shadow areas on the barn. This whole side is in shadow. And then this area under the roof is in shadow. Everything else is much lighter. Everything else below the, really this just comes up to the window line. And if you lay the color down, you don't like it. I just grab a little bit of the color with my brush that I don't have on in the mix that I just laid down, and I mix it right on the paint. So I'm doing a lot of mixing right on this thing. So here are the darkest parts of the barn. I will send you a picture. It's looking very purple to me. I'm not really liking that. So my next layer may be different. This is a little bit darker than what's actually happening, but I feel like I need this dark layer under here. When it dries, I will go back in and add lighters here. And what takes a lot of back and forth is like getting this structure in, and then we'll be working the grass, which is why I really wanted another day to work on it. So we will work on this next week as well. So I don't want you guys to feel stressed with what's happening. And then, you know what? I'm switching over to a pointed brush, a small pointed brush, and I'm adding white, and I just have a tiny bit of color. It's mostly white. I'm going here. Just a smidge of the gray. If I want to, I can bring the white right on top of my shadow color there, but and where else is it a little bit whiter? It's a little bit whiter here. Down where the doors and the windows are, even in the light side. And then of course it's like super, it's white and red. It's right and sort of burnt sienna red up here. This is actually going to be the hardest part, because this, I'm starting with almost pure white here and pulling that down. And I definitely see burnt sienna. I'm gonna try mixing burnt sienna and a little bit of yellow. So no blue in this particular mix, to see what happens when I lay that in as the roof color. It might be too orangey. Yeah, it's not really red enough. Let's see. If I put too much burnt sienna, it gets too bright. What if I add some white? Let's see, I'm now like testing here. Right, so burnt sienna, yellow, and white for this top. And we might even have to glaze it. For the top of this roof, it's definitely and then down here, it's much whiter. Maybe just a little bit of that burnt sienna, but it's whiter here. It's like, and I'm using my pointy brush to kind of move in the direction of the shingles. So a lot of times when you can tell, you're taking your brush in the direction you know, you're letting your marks show in the direction that that the marks are going. That makes sense. Like I'm not going this way. And now, is there a repeat? No, there's not a repeat. I also know that this area is really dark underneath on this side. So I'm going to go back in and add that in again. And that's just simply burnt umber and blue and ultramarine blue. I'm going to use that burnt umber and ultramarine blue for my windows too. So I can kind of come in here. Ultramarine blue and burnt umber is personally my favorite dark. You can turn it lighter with gray. And I don't know how well you guys can see this. Here, I'm actually going to go in and add a little bit of that ultramarine blue right there, right under the roof line. Oiks. Okay, so you can see there I made a too thick a line. So I'm going back over with white. So that the line is still there, but it's not so thick. There we go. Notice, of course, that these windows get sort of progressively smaller, more scrunched. As they move away. I'm taking my pointed brush now also and taking a little bit of white and scrubbing down, drawing down. Not to cover everything, but to create that feeling of the board or the panel. Kind of going over. All the lines are going down. You don't have to do every one, but you can do a few. So this is what I mean by the marks are kind of going the direction. If you see a mark, it should be sort of suggesting direction. I can see there's little bits of light here. Kind of fun. Does anybody want me to pull the picture across so you can see it? Here, let me show you what I mean by that. And if I decide that these whites are too strong, I can either rub them out a little bit, or I can, when this dries, I can glaze this and they will all get a little bit lighter while still showing some value. Here. So let me find our original picture so I can bring it back down. Wait, I think it's up here. Here's the original picture. So you can look at it. And then here's where I'm at right now. If you just get to the barn, we can deal with the grasses on the next lesson. If anybody wants to start working on those, but I'd like you to focus on sky, trees, back trees, and barn. And we will deal with the grasses next week.
What was the mix that you were using for the roof area?
It was burnt sienna, cadmium yellow, and white.
Got it. Thanks.
If you don't put the white in, it looks too orangey. But the white kind of flattens it out a little bit, you know, makes it a little bit grayer. Great work today, ladies, by the way. I don't feel like I have to, I mean, I hope you know it. I make sure I want to say it. I've got a little tiny pointed brush. I'm going in to do a little bit of more detail work kind of around. Like there's like a little dark edge here. I think that would be nice to get in.
I sent you the purple Lincoln.
Oh, yeah, let's see. Now I'm curious. Yeah, Diana. So now he pushes back. I don't know. I'm not sure you have to do anything else. You kind of want the focus to be on the cat, right?
Yes, yes.
I think you're done. Honestly, I don't think there's anything else that needs to be done to this painting.
Okay, then I'm
I
happy
think
to
you're
leave it.
done. And I love it because you were frustrated with that guy and look at where you got it to. Nice work. It's wonderful painting. It's very whimsical.
It is whimsical. So is the cat on the bus.
Yeah, the cat on the bus. So do the cat on the bus for you. Don't do it for those people. Do it for you.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I'm about to give up on those people.
Well, it just shows you kind of what's important to you about the painting process. I don't think you really like adding the money part in unless it's like a commission from friends.
Yeah,
right?
you know, commission on doing pets and stuff and kids and stuff.
That's fun because that's personal. But doing an illustration gig, it's a whole thing. People have an idea. It's a creative idea of what they want. And if you can't.
But it's also like when you're out with a photographer and doing a story, you don't stand over the shoulder and say, hey, take it that way.
They're a little bit controlling, huh?
I've never had that experience. Remember those stupid sunset people?
I have to go for a sec. I'll be
okay. Yeah, the sunset people were probably the closest.
They were a pain.
Yeah, they were awful.
But you know, they loved the painting at the end.
Yeah, and they were able to say what they needed. So like, yeah, some people have ideas. Yeah, I'd say the woman whose dog I did, she was weird. But I mean, she paid me extra money, but didn't ever say anything about the painting.
So
So I was like, which is very passive aggressive if you ask me, but I think there might have been an expectation that I think the composition was problematic, but I did the composition she wanted. And I think that's the thing she can't really come to terms with. I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to know.
You never followed up with her?
I
would
mean,
ask directly.
I tried, but like, I didn't want to know that much. I mean, I just didn't want to. I found her kind of difficult. I think if it had been somebody who was a closer friend, I would have definitely done it, but not for somebody I don't really know. It wasn't worth it to me. I mean, she paid me extra money, so I assume, but I've always thought that she did not like her painting. I've always thought that, even though she
You might be wrong though.
I could be. but there's just something weird about the way she was kind of one of those, oh, it's magical, we can't wait, you know, like one of those, it's just amazing, we're going to do the unveiling. So I shipped her the painting, she went skiing, and she said she was going to open the painting afterwards, and then I never heard another word.
Maybe she had a skiing accident and died.
No, she paid me after that. So she
Oh.
paid me extra money. No,
I'm a
I'm
horrible
telling you,
person. I'm such a bad person.
there was something weird about the whole thing.
I'm laughing.
No, I'm telling you, like, she was weird. She was really weird. It was that was weird. So she was like big on the whole, oh my God, you got my dog. I'm so excited. We're so excited to open it. Right. And then I never heard another word.
That's just
So
rude.
weird.
Yeah.
It
I
is.
get at never. I get $200 more than she asked for it. And I never hear another word about the painting.
Well, that's
ever.
nice.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, would you ask? No, you'd be like, I'm
I
just
would.
staying as far away from that one as I can.
I'd
But
be
I
glad
That's
to
weird.
run and
I
run.
sense that she had a problem with it, but yet I don't I don't really know what, like, I can't really do. I don't think the problem is with me. I think it's her.
Take the money and run.
I took the money and I ran.
Yeah.
And I've never heard from her again. It's funny. People are so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are really weird. But I think she had a sort of idea that this was going to be magical, and she couldn't find the magic. You know what I mean? Like, some people have an expectation, I don't know, that like,
If you want a magical painting, you ought to get out of the way of the painter. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
that's the, well, and you have to accept what the painting is, whatever it is. And she couldn't do that. So anyway, it was weird. It's the weirdest experience I've ever had as a commission. I'm like, I don't think she likes the painting, but I don't care.
Well, she paid you
She paid me more.
and extra. Yeah.
Yeah. But then never spoke to me again, basically.
I bet you that she realizes that she's the reason the painting didn't come out the way it could have, you know?
Right. Right. I don't know
And
on
that's why
some level, but are people
That's why she paid you extra.
right?
Mhm.
But are people usually that kind of self-aware?
No.
No, like, I feel like that gives her a level of like, oh, I understand what's wrong here. I don't know.
Oh, so it's too much credit for her.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I just don't see people behaving that way. People who are like, you know, who are like kind of imbuing a lot into the artistic process.
Mhm.
I met her. She's friends of the people who run the farm. You remember the farm that I do so
Yeah.
much work for? She's friends of the people who run the farm. And she's one of the few people that Roan would allow. Anyway, she's kind of an old friend of the people who run the farm, and I met her on the farm. And she bought a couple of my paintings in an auction I did for the farm. And then I think she went, and I met her dog, and her dog was really cute. And I think she kind of is a sort of I don't know. I think she had a little bit of a fantasy about like our meeting and what was going to happen, the like magicalness of her dog, and was I going to, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just have a feeling
Super weird.
It was yeah. I mean, that's where I go. I'm like, yep, it was weird. I can't really put words on what happened. I knew there was something wrong, but she paid me extra and she hasn't bothered me since. And I would not want to know. I don't want to go to that place. I don't want to go to wherever she is. Anyway, that's a lot of time to talk about a difficult commissioner.
Not really.
But I don't know about you guys, but I'm really enjoying kind of going back and forth on this picture. I've now got a teeny tiny little brush. I've now moved to this teeny little brush to get in some of the detail work.
What are you using for the darker lines on the barn?
Burnt umber and ultramarine blue is my favorite black. Good question.
I sent you my traveling kitty.
Okay, let's see. Kitty on the bus. Commuting kitty.
Yeah.
I mean, commuting kitty and Lincoln kitty kind of look the same. So maybe the series you need to do, Diana, is Little Orange Kitty going to do a different, like going. Now that would be a great children's book.
Oh, that was the idea, but then they don't like that the cat is orange either, because it should be orange, white, and black and brown to represent all the races. And I said, oh God.
Oh no, fuck that. Sorry. Oh, excuse me, Addie. Sorry. Sorry, anybody who is offended by swearing. Yeah, no, you're done. You're
Yeah.
done. You're done. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so I said, so
But you can do
These
your
people
own
are
book.
really going to read into it that much. That is
yeah,
a little
right.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, there definitely is a driver's seat problem there on that bus.
so I said, no, it's an original cat, it's of native Indian descent.
Right. This cat is
That's very weird.
Neanderthal. This cat is
Yeah.
Neanderthal colored.
Yeah,
Just what we're all made up of anyway. We all have a little bit of Neanderthal in us.
yeah.
So
But
this cat is
I,
orange. It's a Neanderthal.
so I just I like, okay, I don't think this is going to work out.
Well, that's fun to know. Anyway, you can continue on with your idea. I think it'd make a fun little series. So guess what, you guys? It's almost like we have 10 minutes left. Can you believe that?
How did that happen?
2 hours. So I'll send a picture. Keep going. Let's just go for another 10 minutes. But and we will deal with grasses next week. So don't worry about that. But just see if you can get your sky, your trees, and your barn to kind of a certain shape. And then whoever joins next week, they can either draw this. They can watch, if they want to, they can watch the video before and try to get it done, or they can work on finishing other paintings while we finish this one up. It'll be our last acrylic painting before we go on to watercolor. Although, if you want to stay with acrylic, you can totally do that while I'm doing watercolor. You'll see it's a very different process, but if you don't feel like working in watercolor, you can do all these same subjects can be done in acrylic. So you'll just be a little bit more, you get to sort of make more decisions about what your first and your second colors are and your layers. As well, I'm going to be opening up, I have a Sunday oil / acrylic painting atelier. It's 3 hours, and I'm going to open that up to you guys in April. That starts at 11 a.m. My time, which is Pacific Standard Time. So 11, 12, 1. It comes right after Marie's classes. Maybe I might make that an 11:15 or 11:30 start, just because I want Marie to have a little bit of time if she needs to go over. I'll have to think about that. But that will be happening on Sundays, and we're just going to stick with acrylic. It'll be acrylic oil demos and painting all year long. I'm going to move to oil fairly soon. So those of you who want to move to oil can. Those of you who want to stay at acrylic, in that you can totally follow along in acrylic. And we'll be doing more like sort of long paintings like this, where it takes more than one session to finish a painting. So and it's 3 hours, so we have a little bit more time. Anyway, I'm stoked about all the things. I'm reminded that I should probably hire Lorelei at some point, Jessica, to do a caricature class. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, she's so cool. Yeah, you should. I think
She's really
she'd
great.
probably do it. Yeah,
oh,
she's a
yeah.
fun lady.
Yeah, she's great. She's really great. So lots of things.
I met her. Did I tell you I met her?
No.
I was out painting and she found me in Union Square painting, and I didn't know it was her. And we were talking for a little while, and she never told me who she was, and she kind of knew who I was, and she never said who she was
So
until
then
I
later,
posted the painting on Facebook. And then she's like, oh yeah, that was me that you were talking to. I'm like, what?
Oh,
Yeah.
she's very low confidence for somebody as talented as she is. She's just, she probably was feeling shy.
I don't know what it was, but you know, I would have
Yeah.
loved to know. Oh, that's, and I know
know,
exactly
she's
who she
great.
was, and we were chatting for a while.
She's
And
absolutely great. She's a wonderful, absolutely wonderful artist. And if I can possibly get her to teach some lessons, I will do that. I will do it because I would like to do that. Yeah.
yeah, you
Funny,
should ask her.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
starting to paint again. I know
Yeah, I
she
know.
wasn't for a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she's getting back into it.
Yep. Anyway, she's really great. Let's see. Let's see, Addie, where you're at. Oh, Addie, it's really sweet. Addie, look at how cool your grass looks, even though you haven't done anything to it yet. So the only thing, honey, is this line on this side, you have it going up, and really it should be going down. See? The top of the roof should be going down. And what you do, you have this thing. I'm going to show you, I'm going to sketch it in so I can show you what you've done. You've got this happening. So you're probably like, how do I, that's what's happening. See, you've done that. So what you really need to do is bring that top line down at an angle like this. And then another angle down and another angle down. This one here has to come down, not up. But that's the thing of perspective, right? It messes with you. It makes you feel like it should go up when actually it's going down. Right? Like that's the problem. So you kind of have to retrain yourself here. Let me get a little bit of green paint in here so I can get rid of that. See, and I can just get rid of that sketch line very quickly and easily by doing that. That's the bear. So the sooner you start grappling with that, Addie, which is good because you're grappling with it early, the less the sooner it'll no longer be a problem once you start to get how perspective works. It's a good job. Anybody else want to send theirs over wherever it's at? I think these are very pretty little paintings. I wondered, because this is kind of a flat looking subject, but I'm really liking the work you're imbuing, the sort of life you're imbuing into these that I've seen so far. I'm loving the layering. It's very beautiful, moody. So great. I don't normally paint stuff like this, so I actually find it kind of fun myself. That orange cat, the Lincoln. You know, Diana, I really love that Lincoln painting.
Good.
I might want to buy it. So keep that in mind, okay? Don't, if somebody
Okay.
else wants it, let's talk, because I think I'm
Okay.
gonna buy it. Oh, Tashween, that's looking lovely. Very nice. Very nice. So once again, I want to point out how even though your farm is sitting on these underpainting, look at how fucking awesome it, look at how awesome it already looks. You see how awesome? Excuse me. Look at how great it already looks. It looks so vibrant. And I think that is the sign. So this is a good sign that like your underpainting looks good. When as you start to place things on it, there's a kind of beauty here. So this beauty is going to be, I love it. Are you happy?
Yeah, again, I was terrified in the beginning of class, but
boy, you really don't show it. So now I know that when you're looking kind of like serious and not smiling, that means you're scared. That's right. You're doing great. You're doing really great. Emma, let's see. Janet, let's see where you're at. You gonna share what you're working on, Jessica?
No, not tonight. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. These are awesome. So you will see, let's see. Oh, Emma, it's lovely. I love it so much. Isn't it amazing how different they all are? These are all, even though this is an Andrew Wyatt style, you know, it's like if there was a woman reaching for flowers, it would be an Andrew Wyatt style, like, you know, composition. Look at how different everybody's paintings are. They look wonderful. These are wonderful.
They do look wonderful.
Yes, yes, it's just great. The only thing, Emma, I'll have you do is this white line of stuff goes up. It doesn't go down. It comes up at an angle. So you may want to work that a little bit, but I love your texture here. I really love that.
Oh, Janet, this is so much fun.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just so great. Janet, are you sick of it yet, or are you just totally
No, I still love
happy?
it.
It's really great. I see you're working on the draping right now.
I worked on the draping and now I'm working on the couch a little bit.
Uh-huh. It's really close, honey.
Yeah, it is. I have a list. I have a list, my punch list I'm working on. Being done.
Does this not say like pandemic, like more than anything? I think you should enter it in some pandemic art contest. That's what I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Addie,
I
that's
agree.
perfect. You got it. Doesn't it look better to you? Yeah, there we go. Good job, honey. Great work. All right, everybody. So next week we'll work on this. We'll finish this. Tomorrow we're going to do this barn. So if anybody feels like joining tomorrow, we're going to do this one with Europe. So if you feel like joining again, jump in to do another one.
I will do that tomorrow.
Okay, excellent. Well, excellent. And great work, everybody. And thanks for listening to us ruminate about the business, about the biz. Here, hold on. I'm going to remove the spotlight for a second. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the latest videos, they're taking a little bit longer. They take a day or two to go up, but they all are edited in with WhatsApp pictures so that you can actually see the real colors. So we have an editor going in and adding so that you can really go through and see the whole video. Great.
Yeah. Are you gonna have the sheep with the I think you have part 2. Would you happen to have part 1 as well?
Oh, you know, there might have been a problem with part 1.
Okay,
I
no worries.
think a problem happened with part 1.
Okay.
So yes, but we do have part 1 and 2 of this guy. Here, hold on. Wait, this one. I do have a part 1 and 2 of this one.
Oh, yeah, that's the one.
Oh, that's the one?
Yeah.
Oh,
part 2 in there. Maybe I missed it.
I'll go take a look. It's possible that got lost. It's possible that got lost in the shuffle. So let me see. It's got to be somewhere. Okay. There's a little bit of a confusion as we shifted over about who was posting what and like what had been edited and blah, blah, blah. But now it should take the editor. I think we have a system. It should be working. So, all right, you guys, I will see all of you. Well, whenever I see you.
Okay.
Take care. Have a good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Great work.
Bye.